Welcome into K-State Online. I am Mason Voth. That is Drew Galloway. Wednesday, August 27th. There was no video yesterday. It was a disaster. Uh, Drew looked like the banker from Deal or No Deal in the airport by a glass window, and I was having to cater to the needs of a 4-month-old. But she's in a lot better mood today. So shout out to her. She's got it figured out now. Unfortunately, some bad news for K-State. Dylan Edwards didn't play a single offensive snap in the game against Iowa State. That got knocked out pretty quickly when on the muff punt, he seemed to aggravate his left ankle. It was referred to as a left ankle sprain in the Pete Thamel report that went out this morning that said Dylan Edwards is out against North Dakota and seems very unlikely to even play next week against Army, which I would say is not great news to already just be close to ruling out that matchup for Dylan Edwards. And this would seem to indicate that K-State will have to live life for a while without him and try to get Joe Jackson and some of the others on track, which to me signals more of an emphasis on what the offensive line needs to do, because Dylan Edwards at least has a little bit more wiggle and juice to him that he could maybe skate by sometimes without the help of the offensive line. They were not very good on Saturday against Iowa State, but now you're definitely going to need them to step up. So what do you make of the Dylan Edwards injury news, Drew?
Yeah, honestly, it's not super surprising. At least I don't think so, because you definitely don't need him this week. I don't think so. Like that makes some sense. You'd probably want him against Army, not just because I think they you necessarily need him against Army, but I think that you want to kind of get him more up to speed because you know I don't think that Arizona's going to be very good, but like it would also be nice to have him in the Arizona game. So like I think that that's kind of where it hurts the most is like you're maybe going to have him for Arizona at the earliest, and the tricky thing with ankles is it's just going to take some time. That's why when like Chris Kleiman says like his X-ray came back negative, you could make an argument, even though Chris Kleiman says that like that's a positive thing. You could make an argument that a sprained ankle is probably worse than a broken ankle because a sprain is going to linger more. It's at a position, and especially with what Dylan Edwards really does, he needs his ankle. Like, and that's one where again, like long term, big picture, if there's any shadow of a doubt with either how K State's training staff feels or Dylan Edwards feels, I don't think that it's a huge deal to not have him for these next two games. It's going to be, can you get him back for Arizona, and then or you can maybe again get by Arizona without him, and then you're hoping that you get your first bye week, and he's going to go for UCF. So I'm not like super surprised about it. I'm also not like overly concerned. I think that there's a lot of people that really have too much of a tinfoil hat on because of who it is. And that has actually been what's bothered me about this whole thing is literally since the point where he muffed the punt, people have just assumed that he's been faking an injury this whole time. And I think that's what bothers me more than anything else in this situation.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that is why this is a bigger deal than it actually is, because there's a world here where, obviously he had to miss basically everything except for one play he could have been involved in the game against Iowa State. That is a meaningful, impactful game. But there's a very real chance that with the way that the schedule works out now for K-State, he essentially has 4 weeks where you don't need him to do anything for you. The next 3 games, even though you don't want to lose them, they don't matter in the grand scheme of things of what's actually important at K-State, and that's winning the Big 12 title. So that's fine. Then you have a bye week. So he has a month to get rested here if you're K-State, over a month for when that UCF game will be. So then he could return for that and be fine. And like I I would be lying to you, and I think this about a lot of people. I'm pessimistic. I'm very keen to when the Royals put somebody on the injured list, and I'm like, God, that's interesting. He just gave up 5 runs in 2 innings last night. Is he really hurt, or is his pride hurt? And so initially, when Dylan Edwards doesn't come out for that first offensive drive and then that second offensive drive, you do kind of think to yourself, oh, okay, like maybe this is a situation of a guy that, for whatever reason, just kind of shut down and is going through it. But then he didn't come in the entire game. And why would you go through the trouble of going all the way to Ireland to just play one snap and then call it quits? And why, if you're trying to be the big brain person that's worried about him sitting out now and all that, why would you go through an entire off season like
knowing
this?
that you're gonna be the number one running back and play in the slot and be like, oh nope, one play, that's all I need.
Yeah, I mean, Dylan Edwards is the second most important player on offense this season for K-State. And on top of that, like Dylan Edwards didn't have a stretch of games last year where he sat out with some fake injury when people like us and fans were saying you're not getting the ball enough. You need to be involved more. And like that seems like it would have been a good time to do it. Or, if you're that upset about the situation, he probably wouldn't be here. He would have left. He's proven that if he doesn't like a spot that he's in, he will leave. So yeah, I don't subscribe to the, Dylan Edwards isn't actually hurt theory that's being floated out there by people. It just doesn't make sense logically. And I think it just goes back to, and this happens, like it's easy for people to slide the glove back on. That is just like oh, well, he committed, decommitted from all these schools and went through that process. Like it's just people are looking for somebody to blame in these
If
situations.
if this was flipped and it was Joe Jackson, not one single person would think that he's faking an injury,
Yeah.
but because of who it is and people still being kind of slighted towards what Dylan Edwards did when he was at high school.
Well, it's like, I mean, do people think that Lincoln Cure is faking his injury right now? Like he didn't play in Ireland. We don't know what his status is going to look like yet. I'm sure we'll find out tomorrow from Matt Wells. It's also good to remind people that there will not be Big 12 availability reports the next 3 weeks because they are not conference games. So the schools do not have to put those out. So it won't be until that game against UCF that we get an update from K-State explicitly on what the health situation going into games looks like. But yes, I'm with you. That's really what the real topic of discussion here is with Dylan Edwards, is that there's a faction of people that think that this is, made up out of thin air. I just think that the guy's actually hurt and that it's one of those deals where, like again, I would listen. I wouldn't be as against it if it was he missed, the game against Iowa State and then he comes back and everything's fine and whatever. Why would Dylan Edwards want to miss this much time that appears to be on the table? Not to mention games where, in theory, he should probably have some of his best numbers of the season because you're playing some of the weaker teams you're going to face this season.
It really does seem just like people trying to put on like their tinfoil hat and galaxy brain and logic out why somebody would miss 2 or 3 games with an ankle sprain when, I don't know if people realize this, an ankle sprain when you're a running back probably affects you a lot, especially when your trait is having elite speed and having elite agility and being able to make cuts on a dime. You need your ankle for that.
Yeah,
But
especially like you said with Dylan Edwards, like even more so him because that is his game as a running back.
But there's the same people that are trying to put this blame on Dylan Edwards and say that he's faking it are the same people that also didn't think that Ryan Davis was actually hurt last week. Like the amount of galaxy braining that's trying to be placed by a certain faction of K-State fans about health and availability has been a little bit gross, to be honest. Like unless without a shadow of a doubt that somebody is like faking an injury or sitting out, you might want to just sit out, just sit it out.
Yeah,
Like
sit
it's
yourself
okay.
out.
Like and then Pete Thamel reports it today. This is about the timeline that Chris Kleiman said on Monday.
Yeah, he said Wednesday is when they would know. We find out Wednesday morning. And I wrote yesterday and some of the stuff, and we talked about it. Like, our best chance at finding out was probably going to be on Thursday when Matt Wells spoke. Well, as we know, Pete Thamel, a very well-connected guy, was probably explicitly told by Chris Kleiman today. That was probably his source that, hey, yeah, this is the deal with Dylan Edwards.
Oh, and then, other people, again, that are the ones that trying to really frame this as a fake. When you're in journalism school, we went through K-State journalism school. We were taught the same things.
Oh.
In a situation like this, we were always taught to say, like, it appeared to be a left ankle injury, because you're never supposed to just specifically come out and just go for gusto and say that, like, it's a left ankle or whatever. They always say, like, it appears to be. Just like, I remember it sitting in Bonnie Bresser's class and her saying that, like, in certain situations, you need to say, like, at least this many people are, like, injured in something as well. Like, it's the same verbiage. So, like, just because he said it appears to be also doesn't mean that Dylan Edwards is faking it.
Yes, no, and that is a great point, because there, like, notification today about stuff like that, where it's at least this many people. So they give what they believe to be as the actual number or the actual cause, but you just say, you're not a doctor, you're not the expert here, so you don't know for certain. Don't speak in absolutes. And you've seen in times, recently and further back, where that's, come back to burn people. So K-State will be without Dylan Edwards this weekend. That puts much more of the emphasis on the offensive line and Joe Jackson, who didn't have as great of a game on Saturdays, maybe some would have expected. But I mean, I go back to the line being part of that equation. So what does this look like for K-State against North Dakota this weekend then without Dylan Edwards?
This is where it becomes a little fascinating, because I think that the clear bell cow will probably be Joe Jackson, but I still think that you're going to see less Joe Jackson this week than you did against Iowa State, even though, like, there's a world out there where K-State starters don't play an entire quarter on Saturday. I still think that you probably see a little bit less Joe Jackson, just because I think that K-State has a pretty good idea of how many snaps per game that they want guys to play going into it. And one of the things that really stuck with me was talking about how they expected Joe Jackson to play like 25 snaps or so in Ireland, and he ends up playing 50. I think that it probably looks closer to that 25-ish range. And now, the benefit of knowing that Dylan Edwards isn't going to go on Wednesday is, in a way, kind of why, like, the George Fitzpatrick incident ends up obviously being a very, very bad deal for him and for K-State. But K-State still had a lot of time in fall camp to really adjust how they want to do and rotate along the offensive line, what positions they want everybody to play. Well, now you have an entire Wednesday, Thursday, and then walk through Friday, knowing that you're not going to have Dylan Edwards. You can get Davon Rice more involved, because there were times on Saturday where he looked very explosive. There were also times where I think that he was a little bit overwhelmed with Iowa State's speed, just his first real time playing offense. So I think that you'll probably see Joe Jackson on the field quite a bit as the lead back. I think that you'll see Davon Rice come in for a little bit. You probably see either JB Price or Antonio Martin or Monterey Elston. That is probably what they're going to spend these next 3 days on, is who is that third back that's going to be able to go, because it sounded like they want more Rice. Listening to Monday's press conference, they want probably a little bit less Joe Jackson, because he was on the field probably too much on Saturday. And Chris Kleiman straight up said that if Dylan Edwards can't go, we need to really work on who that third back is going to be. So I imagine that that's going to be what they probably work on today, Thursday, walk through Friday, and probably all the way up until game time Saturday, is getting that third back. And then if he doesn't play against Army, again, you're going to have even more time to really figure out who you want the third back to be that comes in and spots to spot Jackson and Rice.
Yeah, well, in your mind, who do you think that's going to be? We heard a little bit in the offseason about Montario Elston. Obviously, we saw JB Price out on the field some on Saturday on special teams. Who do you think is that third man up behind Jackson and Rice?
If I was to guess right now, based on who has been available the most / got to play a little bit on Saturday, I'd probably say that's going to be JB Price. But like there's still a world where I think that Antonio Martin can catch up. Maybe not this week, but like let's say he has a good week of practice this week and then follows that up with pretty good practices leading up to Army. Like there's a world where he could be the back against Army. Only reason I don't really think that Elston is that in this case it is just how similar him and Rice are. But like Jackson, Rice, and Price, got to remember, because that's a lot of names that are pretty similar there.
Yes, it is.
All three of those guys all kind of have a unique skill set that are different from each other, and kind of the same with Antonio Martin, which is why I think that he could also be that third guy now. But when you really look at those three, and even those four with Martin, those guys all have something unique and different about them that like Elston is basically like Rice, but a little bit shorter and maybe a little bit faster. Where like Jackson has his own unique style, and then Martin has his own unique style because he's huge. Price has his own unique style because he's more of like that one cut traditional running back, where like Jackson is a one cut back, but it's also like a really good pass catcher. It's like I think that it'll be Price, and I think that I'll see him on the field like a little bit. I'm more intrigued to see like, does this mean that we see more like 3 wide receiver, 2 tight end sets? If K-State wants to go empty, does this mean that there's going to be times where it's like 3rd and 5 or so, and it's going to be the 3 receivers and then maybe like Will Swanson in the backfield as an H-back? K-State can get pretty creative with how they go about this.
Yeah. Or do you have any concerns after how Joe Jackson played that he is equipped to handle being the top running back with Dylan Edwards out?
No, some of that is who K-State's playing. Some of that is there were times where, when the blocking was good, that Jackson looked really, really good. If you take away that fumble, that was when it was downpouring that Jackson had. I think that we'd all say that Joe Jackson probably played pretty well in his first real like game action against a Big 12 opponent. So I don't really have any concerns going forward, but none of this matters if the offensive line can't block. I mean, the run blocking grades, and I say this as a pro football focused truther, and I don't think that they're very good, but the run blocking grades on Saturday were terrible. So like none of it matters if they can't block.
Yeah. It's just one of those where it's discouraging the way it played out. You're probably right. It's unfortunate that his best run of the day ended with a fumble near the end zone. So we'll see. We'll see how it looks for K-State this weekend with Joe Jackson leading the way. I expect it to be better. Are you bold enough to say that Joe Jackson goes for 100 yards?
I'll say he doesn't play enough to get 100
Okay.
yards. I think that he ends with like 90 or so, but I could see this ending with like, because you also know how I feel when it comes to Avery running. This doesn't feel like a game where Avery needs to run it more than 5 times.
I think you only run, and you better be damn sure that those 5 times are going to get at least like 10 yards, and he's going to be able to stay clean when he runs. This isn't the game to try to evaluate a changed Avery Johnson running performance.
So because of that, like there's a world where I think that you could see like Jackson end with 90 or so yards, Rice with 50 to 60, Price with 30 or 40, and even like Antonio Martin with 20 or 30, just to keep getting guys in. But, one thing that we did see on Saturday, which I wonder how much you do this against North Dakota, they were not afraid to give Jace Brown the ball and hand it off to him. So like, do you see some of that? I don't know, but it
I
would be
think
kind of fun if you did, because
maybe it's not with Jace Brown necessarily, because but you might try something. I think we'll see some of that
If you don't give
incorporated.
it to Jace Brown at receiver, unless it's Adonis Moyes, I don't think that you see another receiver get a carry, because I don't know
Tibbs
if
and Bradley don't really have the build for it.
So like I think that if you don't give it to Adonis Moyes, you're probably giving it to Jace Brown as
Sterling Lockett.
No, that was a good try though. Wouldn't this be crazy? Like, let's say that like Lincoln Cure plays, because we don't know if he's going to play or not yet, because they again
no injury report. They hate us.
No injury report. They've barely practiced. Wouldn't it be crazy if like one of Lincoln's first plays they handed off to him?
It would be crazy if they made that move. It'd be very much in the same vein of putting both quarterbacks on the field to start the game against was that TCU they did that against?
Yeah, when Avery's first career start came at
wide receiver. Yeah. All right. Final thing in regards to this run to pass ratio. What do you think that looks like on Saturday then for K-State? I will make it the caveat be when Avery Johnson is in the game at quarterback.
Okay, I was about to say that we need a little bit of a caveat.
Yep.
I'd say like 62% pass, 38% run. But
yeah, that sounds about right to me.
I think that this is a game where you can try and light up a scoreboard with passing.
I think they should. I mean, I think you get your lead, and if it's second quarter and you want to try to lean on the run game a little bit more and give the offensive line the opportunity to try and prove themselves, you should probably do it, but don't screw around. The fans need something good to happen this weekend, and I think that involves Avery Johnson distributing it to the receivers, who I thought had a solid day last Saturday.
Yeah, we've talked about it a little bit of like what could K-State do to like really get the fans excited and bought in a little bit more. One thing that like just like came across my mind was like if Avery goes out and throws for 270 again, but has 4 touchdowns, I think everybody would be okay.
Yeah. No, you need something. You need something like that.
Actually, don't get 4. Set the school record. Get 5.
Get 5.
Too many people have 4. Go get 5.
Love it. There you go. Go and get you some touchdown passes. Make it about you on Saturday. Let's close out here today, and we can do a little beat the media guide since we don't have like the longest and craziest of shows for everybody. So let me try and find a timely one for you. Actually, this one might be fun. Can you, Drew, give me? This is a 10-part situation. I want you to give me the 10 longest games in K-State football history. So from kickoff to the final zeros hitting the clock, I want you to give me 10 longest games in K-State history. Let me just confirm here. There are exactly 10 on this list. And just so you're not confused, not a single one of these games happened before 1998.
Okay, that does make me feel better. So this is like time, like from the minute that it kicks off to close. Okay. That UCF Storm game is probably on there because that delay I feel like was pretty long.
Yeah, that's number 2 all time. 4 hours 35 minutes against UCF in September of 2010.
Texas A&M 2011 went to 4 overtimes. That had to be pretty long.
Yeah, that one is tied for 5th. That was 4 hours and 7 minutes for that game. So yeah, there you go. And that is the first game in terms of the order here that's listed that was not a weather delay game.
Oh boy, now I gotta think of like weather delays. Is Oklahoma State in 2019? on here?
It's a great guess. It is number 3, 4 hours, 20 minutes.
Was that a long delay?
It felt like it.
Like I don't remember a lot of that game because the game was kind of over.
Well,
when
didn't the game get delayed to start too, and then it actually began, and then there was another like in-game delay, I think. But yes, it is on here.
Is Oklahoma in 2017 on here?
It is not. That's a good guess though. But that game was just delayed before kickoff for a long time. The game never actually started.
Okay, so then was it TCU in 2017 that had a half-time delay?
Great job, Drew Galloway. That is number 4 all time. 4 hours, 15 minutes for that game.
Okay, now gotta think of like crazy weather games.
Yep, you have only 3 of the 5 games that have been impacted by weather on this list, though. So there are still some more out there.
Okay,
you have 5 guesses remaining. Currently 4 for 5.
I'm actually really disappointed that Oklahoma game was actually delayed at the beginning.
Yeah, that's the one that I'm pretty sure that was the last year before I was working at games, and that's the one that some of the media members talk about Gus Johnson taking his shoes and socks off and rubbing his feet out in the press box in front of everybody. So,
let's see.
You go ahead.
I was gonna say there's definitely some overtime games that I'm missing.
Also, I just want to make people aware of this. Those not very cool people involved in road work are once again working on I-70 at Junction City. So, yes, it will take forever if you're going that way to the game this weekend.
Ugh.
Yeah, they're always on top of it there. I don't know if this is a KDOT thing or if it's something more local than that, but whoever's in charge of it, I got problems with you. Well, actually, I don't, because I'm a wise man now and I go up through Council Grove. So,
that does feel wise.
It's more scenic, takes a little longer. Don't care. Don't have to wait. Get to be grandson of the year. Go see my grandma. So,
grandson of the year. I'm gonna go with how are there conference games left, or are all these non-conference, or what's the situation here?
So there is 1, 2, 3 conference games left, 3 that are non-conference games.
Okay, one that I just thought of, it might not have actually been this long, but it felt like it took forever. 05 Missouri.
No, not 05 Missouri. That is not on here.
That game felt like it took forever.
Close, though. Pretty close.
Close as in the right year or the right opponent?
Let's just say if you were playing Wordle, something is yellow in what you just said.
Okay. Is it Missouri in 04?
Oh, it's still yellow, but it is not the. It is not the. The year is what's wrong here. You've got the team right. The team is green, but you haven't gotten it all.
Oh, Missouri in 22.
Yeah, Missouri in 22. Took 4 hours, 7 minutes, and then Phillip Brooks came back with a punt return touchdown when they came back from the break. That's tied for 5th.
I only remember that game being delayed at the beginning, and totally Crown is also delayed in the middle.
Yeah, well, that was the one where it was just before halftime, and K-State was going to say, "Yeah, we'll waive halftime," and Dorkwitz was like, "No, we got to go in there and hug each other and slap butts at halftime." And then came out and just got their butts kicked and also called sad timeouts to try and score at the end. So, and a certain Missouri beat writer cried the whole time about alleged cheering in the press box that I don't remember occurring, but boy, did I hear some the next year in Columbia.
I'm going to go 98 A&M, sadly.
Yeah, great guess. That is the other one that's tied for fifth. A game that obviously had some extra frames and bigger games, so the telecast would be stretched out. That was 4 hours, 7 minutes as well. So you have one guess left. There are 4 games left on here that you have not answered.
Okay.
You have exhausted every game that involves Texas A&M.
Well, that's good because I could not think of another A&M game if I even like wanted to.
Well, that weird one in 2010, right? Or 2009.
Oh yeah, when K-State scored 1 million points in it. I don't think that this is right, but this game felt like it took forever because there were a lot of points scored. Is the Rate Bowl last year in the top 10?
It is not. That seems like it would have been a good guess. I'll have to go and look to see what it actually ended up being. So the ones that you missed, though, Drew, number one, longest game in K-State football history came in 2010 at Baylor, 5 hours, 13 minutes. So definitely a weather delay in there, I would imagine. I have no recollection of that game.
No, neither do I.
K-State lost 47-42. Believe it or not, the Cats were ranked when this game was played. K-State was down 46-28 immediately to start the fourth quarter. They got a garbage time touchdown, though, 47-42 with 7 seconds left. This is the one that Drew. This is the one that Brandon Banks threw the touchdown pass to Aubrey Quarles on, I think. And because they came back after Baylor and then they scored and they got one more, but it was not.
They had the DT pass to Aubrey Quarles.
Yes, Daniel Thomas threw it. Was right. Daniel Thomas. I think I said Brandon Banks. Daniel Thomas threw it. Maybe he threw it to Brandon Banks. I can't remember who caught it.
No, Aubrey
Quarles definitely caught one. Yeah,
Quarles caught this one.
Okay, so that was on there, and then the other ones, you were on the right track thinking about maybe bowl games. The 2004 Fiesta Bowl against Ohio State took exactly 4 hours, and then one other 1998 game, the Alamo Bowl against Purdue, took 4 hours. The non-bowl game one that you were missing that was left, Oklahoma in 2001 took 4 hours and 3 minutes, and that was not delayed by weather or anything. So I don't know what the backstory on that one ended up being. Let's see if I can. I'm sure some people watching this could probably figure out what went on there. Oklahoma won that game 38-37.
For some reason, I thought that Bill's last game took forever.
Against Iowa State?
No, the first time against Missouri.
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't know. Maybe it did. Boy, what a game here I'm looking at in 2001. Okay, let's see. Rate Bowl between K-State and Rutgers. How long?
Game last year did it not feel like it took a long time?
No, I think that's probably accurate. I mean, it did feel like it took forever, and a lot of points. Never like a bad guess there. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to find the final book should help me out here. Let's see. I know, believe it or not, only 3 hours, 44 minutes, which is a long time still.
That is a long game. It just wasn't 4 hours.
Yeah. So definitely came close, but there you have it. K-State and the longest games of all time. We'll probably never talk about the shortest games of all time, Drew, because
probably from 1930 on and before.
Believe it or not, they all took place between 1977 and 1986. So actually a smaller window than what you would think. But yeah, not.
Well, K-State basketball also, a little off topic here in the show, posted their official roster for this season. some good numbers, some not so good
Oh,
numbers.
good. This is a good way to close out. This is not a bad way to close the show.
Have you seen the tweet?
No, I haven't. All right, quiz me.
Elias Rapiak, what number do you think he's rocking?
Well, did he wear like 32 overseas?
He was either 32 or 23, I think, overseas.
Is he wearing 32?
No.
Is he wearing 41? He's German.
No.
No. Okay. Well, what's he wearing?
0.
Oh,
People aren't gonna like that.
No, don't like that.
What about our guy Andres Costa?
Oh, real quick. I didn't even say I didn't like it because of the whole Poland thing. But yes, I don't think anybody should wear the number 0 at K-State anymore because obviously they can't live up to it. Quez Glover hurt himself. Good, not good that he got hurt, but just like I'm glad we didn't see him wear the number 0. And then Doug McDaniel came in and took a giant crap on the number 0 jersey. So yes, quit letting people choose 0. I do think Elias Rapiak will probably wear it better than those guys did. But no, stop. Only Willie is allowed to wear 0 from here on out. You can give him double 0, quit giving away single 0. You know, I'm even open. I understand if you want to say, hey, you know, what about Ernie Barrett? You're going to tell people to quit wearing 22? I don't know. I saw Roddy Magruder come in and wear 22 and look good doing it. So it's just 0. There's something special about 0 that these guys shouldn't be touching. Okay.
No, I agree.
Right. Kostic?
Yeah.
7.
No, higher.
Is it a double digit number?
Yeah.
77.
47.
Oh, well, duh. AK-47. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Here's the one that I think is kind of weird for who he is. Marcus Johnson.
Is he wearing 2?
No, it's a single digit though.
1.
6.
I like it. I like the single digit number on Marcus Johnson. He wore 6 at Bowling Green, didn't he?
He might have. I think that Moby might have changed numbers. What number was Mobes last year?
He was 4.
Oh yeah, Mobes has changed numbers because PJ Haggerty came in and told him I got to get 4.
Well, I don't like that for Moby. Is it a single digit still?
No, he's a double digit now. He
went to
Blake Barnett path, if you know what I mean.
Oh, so he went to 13?
14.
Oh.
Because he was 4 and then went 14.
Oh, yeah. So Blake Barnett went 3 to 13. Yeah. Okay. I gotcha. That's fine.
Last one for you because it's a fun one. Newest cat, Doran Buka.
What's single or double digit?
It's a double digit.
99?
No, but that would have been awesome.
What did he pick?
22.
Oh my! Oh, so we just talked about this. Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, everybody else pretty normal numbers. Stephen Osage 23, Nate Johnson 34. I think that's what he wore to Akron. Kamari McGriff is the same number he was at UNCW. Castillo kept his number. I want to say that CJ Jones was 3 last year.
He was.
He is this year again. Xavier Wilson 2, Castillo still 10, Taj still 15, and Abdi Bashir is the new number 1, which I think is what he wore at Monmouth.
Yeah, I don't like it. I think there could have been better numbers chosen. These guys should have consulted better. Andre Kostic, stamp of approval. Yeah, I mean, you know, Andre Karolinko was one of those.
AK-47.
Yeah, one of those guys I associate with young basketball love. AK-47 is a great basketball nickname, so I'm cool with it. Some of the other guys, sure, whatever, it's fine, but I would have liked more fun from some of them.
Nate Johnson's aesthetic is not great wearing 34.
Yeah.
Like he's wearing too high of a number to be like a guard in my
Levi Stockard.
Oh no.
Of guards, yeah, I guess I'm trying to think of guards that have gone that high there.
Was Akeem Wright 40 or 34?
Akeem Wright was 34.
Yeah, that's not a high bar. He might be the best 34 in recent memory.
At least I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he was definitely 34. So, all right. Well, that was kind of a bummer way to end it. I thought it was going to be good, but I'm disappointed in the number choices by some of these guys. I thought we'd have a little bit more fun with it. I do like the way the number 7 looks on a basketball jersey, though, for most people. So,
well, there is not a number 7 on this K-State basketball team.
Yeah, I know. Disappointing. All right. Well, we'll be back again tomorrow. We'll talk about what Joe Klanderman and Matt Wells had to say. And then Friday, we'll have the North Dakota preview with myself and Derek Young. And then Saturday, Drew and I live after the game, answering your questions, discussing what we just saw. I would imagine it'll be a win, but I know some of you will be pessimistic and just be like, not until they prove it. Let's hope they prove it on Saturday, or our lives will all be miserable.